Hi, I am Bob, and we're taking a look at a couple of Sith Lords that I own today as we continue to take a gander at all the dark side users of the Force. And Emperor Palpatine, everybody should know who he is. Big bad in the original trilogy. He's old. Met his untimely end at the hands of Darth Vader. I'll show you Palpatine as an old man here. This is how we see him in Return of the Jedi. Just wearing his robe and his hood. You've probably seen every single portrayal of Palpatine. I mean, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. He's usually got this robe on and his hood. And so, yeah, this is the first Palpatine I've ever owned here. He's got a walking stick, too, but it won't stay in his hand. So I'm not going to drop it on the floor and spend a couple of minutes groping around for it. So here he is, robe in his hood, showing him from the back. And there he is from the side. Turn him around, see the other side. Yeah, so that's our Palpy from Return of the Jedi. But he was thrown down the core shaft and he met an untimely end. And in both The Rise of Skywalker and our old non-canon Star Wars timeline, that wasn't the end of Palpatine. See, Palpatine comes back in the old timeline just like he comes back in The Rise of Skywalker. But he comes back as a much younger clone in a certain comic book called Dark Empire. So here's our clone Emperor Palpatine. Palpatine transferred his spirit into a clone body that he had made for himself. So, much younger guy here. He's got a lightsaber because he dueled Luke when he came back. So here he is. You see he's wearing his tunic and stuff. He also comes with a robe you can stick on, but that covers up his entire body. So we'll just show you what he looks like in this this tunic here. I guess I could put his robe on. Let's stick him in his big fancy schmancy robe that he was wearing. That was him when he's ready to duel. Here he is, just got a big collared robe on. Stick that right over his head and you can have him wearing a different outfit practically. Yep. Just robed Emperor here. And Luke and Leia both managed to destroy this clone body. Okay? But that was not to be the end of Palpatine. He would return, and I will return as soon as I find the other Palpatine I'm going to show. Let me pause this real fast.
Pause video, pause video.
Now, I must warn you, this next Palpatine figure is a little disturbing. See, he had one clone body left after Luke and Leia destroyed his, the one that he was in. And the other folks in the Empire, his personal physician, they tampered with this clone. They wanted him to degenerate and decay. So, this is our final clone body of Palpatine in the old Star Wars Legends timeline. So he's well, he doesn't look too good, does he? He is bandaged up all over. You can put a robe on, and I think we're going to in a second. This is just too this is just too disturbing. We don't want to be looking at this guy longer than we have to. But he comes with accessories. So I'm going to show you a couple of those. He was going up against Leia in his final clone body. So he had a Force Lightning accessory that he could attach to his wrist here. He's shooting off Force energy there. Yeah. Go get him, you weird looking naked mummy clone guy. Ugh. He is just not well, is he? Not well at all. Ugh. And he comes with a lightsaber. Because, you know, he's Palpatine, and he's a clone Palpatine, and we didn't see him fight in Return of the Jedi, so he needed to fight in the comics. So he has a lightsaber. Get that in his hand here. There we go. Yep. On guard and stuff. Alright. We'll pause this one more time.
Stop. Brightness at 0, but stop. Pause video record. Pause.
And thank God he has a robe on. So, no more naked mummy Palpatine. Yep, there you go. Sorry you had to see that, but, I mean, I'm just showing Palpatine the way he was portrayed in the comics. And yeah, he was destroyed once and for all, just as he was in The Rise of Skywalker. I wish they would make a robotic zombie Palpatine from Rise of Skywalker. I really want him to. So, yep, that was the old Palpy and his younger clones. The younger clones are from the Dark Empire comic book series. I imagine you can still read them if you would like to do so. I first heard the dramatic audio adaptation of all the Dark Empire comic books. And so I was fortunate enough to have heard Nick Jameson as the voice of the Clone Emperor in the 90s when I listened to Dark Empire. I discovered Palpatine had come back way before Rise of Skywalker. It was a great read, and I loved the movie too. It was a fun ride. I was excited to see Ian McDiarmid come back in Rise of Skywalker as Palpatine. It was awesome to see him doing his thing, and I immediately flashed back to the Dark Empire comics when they were like, "Oh, it's a clone. Palpatine's probably a clone," and I think it was a clone from what the novel was saying. We don't really find that out in the movie. But yeah, it's a great film. I think as far as the new trilogy went, that one was my favorite. Some great scenes there. Fantastic performances by Harrison Ford in the late, but never forgotten Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill. So yeah, Rise of Skywalker was awesome. The comics were great, and a great couple of figures there from those comics. Maybe we'll get to see zombie robo droid Palpatine from Rise pretty soon. That would be cool. I need him. So yeah, that's they get 10 out of 10. Love those guys. May the Force be with you, and hear you later.